This video is going to be a quick overview of IoT Analytics. The full process for setting everything up is outlined in the user guide. We're going to take a quick overview of the result of what was set up. So we're going to start by going to IoT Analytics. You can search for that if it doesn't already show up in your quick link list. The first time you come to IoT Analytics, you're going to want to enter a prefix here. And once you enter a prefix, which is basically just a name for your resources, then the quick connect will light up and you can go ahead and hit that. IoT Analytics resources consist of channels, pipelines, and data stores. And so I've already done the quick one-click creation of all of that. And so I have a data channel here. And there's really not much that you need to configure there. I have the data store, which is basically the database. And data sets is basically a review of that database, a query of the database. Pipelines is something we want to take a quick look at. This is where we process the data as it passes through our pipeline from the channel to the data store. And the input is the channel, the output is the data store, and in between we have some activities. And in my case, I'm adding attributes and removing attributes. And the reason I'm doing that is to remove all of the JSON overhead from the database. So I start by adding attributes, and to do that I simply come down here and hit add another attribute, type in a name, tell it what part of the JSON message I want to associate with that name, and keep on going. And then down here, once I'm done adding attributes, I can get a preview of what the outgoing message is going to look like. And basically I got the same data, it's just renamed in a manner that drops all the JSON formatting. So that's that action, and then the second action is to now simply remove the JSON part of the message and leave only my renamed attributes. So now if I come down to data sets and look at my SQL query, you can restructure this SQL query any way you like. And this is a quick overview of some of the data that I've collected. And here we see the renamed data. If I didn't rename it, it would still have, the entire message would still be in here with a bunch of JSON overhead. So now we got the analytics resources set up. The next thing we need to do, or that you need to do when you first set it up, is go back to your IoT core. And my thing is still in here. We want to come down to action and set up a rule. And if you've already watched the notification video, you sort of recognize where we're at here. And here we set up an additional rule to send data from our shadow update to IoT Analytics. And the process of setting up this rule is the same as it was for setting up notifications. The only difference is here we send it to IoT Analytics. And again, the step-by-step process for setting this up is outlined in detail in the user guide. So at this point we're all set up to collect data and send it to the database. Now we want to take a look at one option we have for looking at that data. That's called QuickSight. And there's a lot of places you can send your data once you start collecting it and sending it to the Amazon server. Now in QuickSight I've already set up one analysis. If you're coming here for the first time, these are just examples that you can take a look at, but what you'll want to do is click New Analysis and set up your own analysis. I've already done that. This is my analysis based on the data that we were just looking at in the IoT Analytics data set. You probably recognize these same labels right here. And up here is where we can set up what our graph should look like. There's some different things you can do with your data points. And there's a bunch of different types of graphs that you can create, and you can put these on your dashboard, and this is one of the ways that you can look at your data. And so I just wanted to give you a quick overview of one of the things you can do with the data. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with data once you start digging into the Amazon Web Services. This is just one example. And again, the full details for step-by-step instructions on setting this up can be found in the user guide.